Hello, my name is Joseph Alai. Welcome to my channel. And today I want to talk about how quickly do you plant a seed and how do you know your seed is planting when you are trying to manifest something. So that's an analogy that I use continuously, and so does Neville Goddard. And it's the best analogy to describe how manifesting actually works. So it's often thought that we have to continuously match a vibration of the thing that we want to manifest in order to get it, and that we must continuously stay in that state until it comes to pass. But that is actually not the truth. So the truth is that the subconscious mind is very much like a garden. So what we have to do is tend to this garden, and when we manifest, what we're doing is we are planting a seed or an imaginal act in the garden of the mind, in the subconscious, which in turn will grow and manifest on the screen of space. So the topic I'm asked more than anything else is my seed planted? So I go through any number of things in order to ensure that my seed has been planted, in order to ensure that my manifestation will come to pass. Now, nowadays, I generally manifest every single time. There's no question about it. I automatically know that when I imagine something, when I plant a seed in my mind, when I create an assumption, when I have a belief, when I take any action regarding manifesting my desires, I know for certain that the seed has been planted and it will surely come to pass. So first of all, the seed, what are we talking about with the seed here? So when we manifest, the idea is manifesting is basically we take something that we want, a definite idea of what it is that we want. And then after we know exactly what we want, we construct some type of scene. The scene must take place after the desire has been fulfilled. And the reason for this is because when this thing that we have planted in our mind manifests, anything that must take place in order for that manifestation to happen will happen. So we don't have to focus on the how, we don't have to focus on the when or the obstacles in between. We only have to know exactly what we want and to construct a scene where we are involved, right, from our awareness, from our perception of what would be happening if and only if the desire had been fulfilled. So once we construct this scene, first of all, I outlined it on a piece of paper. I do it with my hand on a piece of paper. Now I'm a software engineer. My fastest way to articulate what I'm thinking is through typing. But there's something about writing on a piece of paper that brings your attention fully to the thing that you want. So that's what I would highly recommend, but I would definitely test different things if I were you. But once we know what we want and we outline a scene that would imply that we are now that person. If I want a raise at work, if I want money, if I want health, if I want a vacation, we'll go with a vacation. If I want a vacation, I would outline a scene that would imply that either I am already on vacation or that I have already gotten back from the vacation. All of the facts and things that must unfold in order for that manifestation to happen will be condensed in the scene itself, but we don't have to worry about that. All we have to worry about is the end itself. I just want to stress that for you, because if we begin to start messing with the middle, we have such a limited perception of what needs to be done that we'll end up creating obstacles for ourselves. So we write that down, and then what we do for the best case scenario is we shut off our mind, we shut off our senses, anything that has to do with the senses, our hearing, our sight, our touch, and we bring them inward to our imagination. Now the imagination is like a machine that constructs seeds. That's what I perceive it as, and it's never failed me yet. Now like I said, I've tested this thousands and thousands of times, and I've never been proven incorrect with this. And if you look at the comments and my blog post responses, you will see as well, there are thousands of people who have been using this method of imagining the end, and that it works every single time. So what you do is after you shut off the senses, you bring that scene into your imagination. So as if you are there. What would you see? What would you taste? What would you touch? What would you hear? What would you feel? What would you be thinking? How would you feel emotionally? We bring this into our mind's eye and we feel as if we're there ourselves. So we're in our own body in the scene. We're not looking in third person. We're in the scene ourselves. Now, if we can do this, and however many times we need to replay this scene in order for us to feel it real, that's perfectly fine. Me, myself, sometimes I do it one time and it's done and it manifests. Other times I will do it, in the state of shutting off the senses, I will repeat that scene over and over and over again until it feels real. Other times, I may not get it the first night. I'll do it one night, 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights. After a certain amount of time, basically what we're looking for here is for that excitement to kind of be dispelled or that thrill to be dispelled. So it's as if it's like, oh, okay, this has already happened. This is a memory of mine. That's how you know that you've done the seed, that you've planted the seed properly. That's how you know you've created it properly. Now, for those of you who have trouble with your imaginal faculties, thinking from the scene is extremely powerful because you're able to be very concise and clear. And God knows the heart. He knows what you're thinking regardless, or the universe, as you may call him. I refer to him as God. It's very simple. We bring the scene into our imagination. We feel as if it's really there. And if we can do that to the point where it's almost, I want to say, we repeat it, we get that thrill, or we get the feeling of naturalness in there, and it's almost like it becomes not boring, almost boring, like we've done it. We've done it. Or when we open our eyes, it's a shock. That is another indication that you have planted the seed. When you open your eyes and it's almost a shock to come back to physical reality. So doing it until it almost feels boring, or when you open your eyes, it almost feels like a shock that you're here. Being fully immersed in the scene is all it takes. It could take one time. It could take 1 second. A lot of the things that I manifest are a split second and boom, it's manifested. It's amazing. It's all power, all wisdom, all might. All we have to do is create what we want, a scene. A scene. Now, when it comes to inner conversations, when I plant seeds, generally what I do is I will write out what it is that I want to experience, right? So in one of the last videos, I explained about, I imagined that I got a TSA pre-check approval. Now I have a past that does not warrant an approval, mostly. I mean, I wouldn't think so. And it was taking weeks for them to get back to me. So I imagined, so first of all, I constructed a fake email from them not an email, on a website, and it had like, Dear Joseph Alai, congratulations, you have been approved and you have your TSA pre-check number. By the way, TSA pre-check is so that you don't have to wait in line, right, at the airport. So I did that, and then I read this thing like 7 times, right? I knew by the time I had read it, so what happened is I just felt this little bit of thrill in my mind, like, ooh, this is awesome, like this is real almost. I was reading it out loud not read it out loud, in my mind as if it really happened 7 times. And then I stopped doing it. And afterward, I had imagined that I was having a conversation with my mother and imagined that I was having a conversation with my sister. But I had known already at that point that I had planted the seed in reading that fake scripted website that I had constructed. There's not an aha moment. There's not a big bang. There's not a feeling that we encounter generally when we plant the seed. But I'm telling you from experience, all we have to do is feel like it's real, or feel like we're really there. Or when we open our eyes, it's almost a shock that we've come back to this world. Those are all indications that your seed has been planted. Now, after the fact, to ensure that it's planted, sometimes, so either the manifestation unfolds instantly or very quickly, or perhaps you'll begin to see signs, something similar. You'll see the name of the person, or you will, something that in your environment that changes, something that comes into your awareness that tells you that it's been heard, that your thoughts have been heard. And if you know that your thoughts have been heard, then you know that the seed has been planted. And if the seed has been planted, then you know it will come to pass. There's no question about it. So trust yourselves and practice this. Test this out. There's a lot of examples on my blog. There's a lot of people that comment on my videos. Definitely test this, keep track, put it to the test. You will prove to yourself. When you prove this to yourself, you'll have no use for me anymore. And that's my greatest desire, is that everyone learns how to manifest to the best of their ability, right? So that they can trust themselves, they can build the faith themselves. So don't worry about obsession. You don't have to play this the scene 1,000 times in a row for 365 days in a year. It's not necessary. Sometimes you won't even see signs until a month later. But the seed could be planted the very first time you did it. Now, also, there's no harm in imagining continuously. But if you start getting this anxiousness, this burnout feeling when you're imagining, or this struggle, then I would stop and take a break, right? I know many people who have been imagining continuously, and they were starting to get burnt out, and adverse manifestations were coming in. And then when they take a break, the manifestation starts to come to pass. So I hope this was helpful to you. If you like this, definitely subscribe to my email list to get videos and information from me. That's at Sovereign Mind. Just register for that website. Also, definitely like this video, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and stay tuned for more. Thank you so much for watching.